Quasi here, and in this video I want to share with you 3 of the biggest mindset shifts and basically the success mindsets that I've sort of carried on with me throughout my whole journey that's allowed me to grow my business from 0 to doing 150K a month within a year and a half, and how I've navigated through this journey through all the ups and downs, and the 3 biggest things, the 3 frames that have always stuck with me. Okay, I want you to stick around till the very end of this video because I really want to get deep down into this and truly understand, what makes successful people successful and why do they consistently and, always are able to maintain their success without squandering it and without self-sabotaging, without moving backwards. Okay, this was something that was important for me to realize because these mindset shifts, once you make the realization, you just naturally hold on to them and they become a part of you. Before I begin this video, I want to quickly announce a couple of spots have opened up for the free one-to-one consult with me and my team for the Reality Mastery program. If you're serious about working together and seeing how we can help, make sure you wait around till the end of the video for the announcement on how to sign up for that. And with that, let's get started. So in this video, I want to talk to you about the success mindset. And there's probably 1,000,001 different videos out there talking about success mindset and talking about all the affirmations you need to do and this and that and everything that you need to do. What I want to share with you here is purely my personal experience and what's actually worked for me and what's worked for our clients and what they've used to become successful. And this can get very, very subtle, so I'm going to try my best to explain to you all the subtleties and all the nuances so that you actually make these realizations and you can start to use them immediately. So make sure you watch this video and then rewatch it as long as it takes for this to sink in and for the realization to happen. But also I want you to remember that if you don't even use this stuff at all, the realization won't happen, because it's one thing theorizing, another thing going out there and testing these hypotheses and these theories and making them your own, making them personal. Okay, so what I want to begin with is that anything that you see around you right now, this quote-unquote reality, it's moldable, it's flexible, right? So reality is flexible. And what do I mean by that? If you believe something to be true, it's going to happen. If you don't believe it, it's not going to happen. Everything is a placebo. Everything is a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think that medication is going to help you, if you think that you're going to heal from surgery before you go into it, then you're going to heal. If you think you're doomed, then that's probably what's going to happen. So everything is revolving around this probabilistic space, and there's a certain percentage of things happening and a certain percentage of things not working right. Right? So there's always this uncertainty there. And this uncertainty goes to show that reality is flexible. Even when you think that one thing is 100% certain and 100% correct, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it just goes a completely different way, right? So in that sense, reality is very, very flexible. And because it's flexible, that means you can influence it the way you want. And this is where this whole reality creation scheme and manifestation and the law of attraction comes in. Okay, and within that, there's a huge principle that's been very, very relevant to me in my personal life and, what I've been going about doing and what I've been sharing in the channel. And this is what we call the mirror principle. If you want to learn more about this mirror principle, by the way, click up here to check out a video on that. I detail it and I really talk about it in depth. We're not going to go too much in depth in this video. If you want to check that out, then just click here. I'll put it in the description as well. But what the mirror principle is that everything you see in your reality is a reflection of your internal world. Anything in your outer world is a reflection of what is in your internal world, okay? And this mirror of reality, it reflects your attitude towards your reality, okay? What do I mean by that? Let me write that down first. The mirror reflects your attitude. Your internal world consists of only attitude, right? It's only your meanings that you've put onto things and how you feel about certain things and how you perceive them and what lenses you wear. So if you think something is good, then something's going to be good. If you think you're worthy, then you're going to be worthy. If you feel you're confident, then you're going to be confident, right? Reality just confirms what you already feel. So it's just like that. Your hypothesis is always confirmed, right? Whatever your hypothesis is, you go out and test it. Whatever you truly believe to be true, you're going to find some proof of it. Right? This is where we come into reprogramming the subconscious mind. So if you program it with certain ideas, you're going to find proof and evidence of these ideas coming into existence. So if we keep reprogramming ourselves with more positive ideas and things that we want to see as opposed to what we don't want to see, then that's what's going to start to happen. there's a lot of subtleties behind this, because most of the times when we think we want something, we actually don't want that. We just want to avoid the opposite of that, right? So most of the time when people want money, they don't really want money. They just want to avoid the lack of money. So really think about that. You want money because you want to avoid the lack of money. You want financial freedom because you don't want to be trapped. So there's always the duality at play. But what happens is more of the feelings, more than 50% of it is on the negative and avoiding the negative than actually the positive. This is why you move towards the negative. So the mind works in a focusing manner. Whatever you focus on, you will move towards it. Okay? So in that sense, this mirror is reflecting the attitudes that you have about certain things. So you've got to be very, very sincere about your attitudes. And this is also why the rich get richer and the poor keep getting poorer, right? Because the rich see wealth around them, they're like, oh, good, I'm rich, I have money. More money comes in. Mirror of reality reflects this attitude that they have of money. Oh, I'm rich. You're rich? Okay, let's reflect more of rich. And then poor people, they're like, oh shit, I have bills to pay and I'm poor, right? Even though they might want money, they're like, oh, but I have this bill to pay, but I have this obligation and this commitment and I need to do this and I need to do that. Then reality gives them more of these bills and commitments and obligations, right? So this is how the mirror principle of reality works. Why am I telling you this before telling you all of these mindsets? This is the principle you need to grasp before we actually move on to the next part. Okay, I'm going to keep this very, very concise, but at the same time, I'm going to try my best to really explain this to you so that you can use it, right? So now let's get to the 3 mindsets that I've used with actual examples and how they've affected me in my personal life and what you really need to be successful. Mindset number 1, there are only blessings and blessings in disguise. Okay, let me write that down real quick. There are only blessings and blessings in disguise. What do I mean by that? The moment you start to divide up your reality and everything that you see into good and bad, you're fucked. You have a problem there. Because the moment you start to see good and bad in things, then you're going to start to discriminate and you're going to be biased, right? And most of the times this bias isn't under your control. It's just the one that has the most emotional pull. You want to avoid being poor more than you want to be rich. And that's why you move towards poverty. Mirror reflects that, right? So understand that there is no good and bad. There's just good and good in disguise. Simple as that. When I started to adopt this mindset, everything started to go my way. What do I mean by that? In the month of May in my business, I had a $0 month. Okay, so to give you a backstory, I have a coaching business, and at realitycreator.com, what we do is we help entrepreneurs take their businesses to the next level, from 5, 10K a month to scaling up to 20, 30, 40K a month in their businesses, even more, by helping them solve the internal problem. They don't have a tactical strategic problem at this point. They have all the right tactics and strategies that's not working for them. They have an internal world. Now, what I saw was that when I started this business back in February 2019, the first month I did well. I did 2K within just the first month of starting up. I had an existing YouTube channel and it did very well. I had maybe 1,000, maybe 500 subscribers, and it was just growing slowly. And I had a couple of clients that came in, and I was very excited because back then I was in college and I didn't want to go to the 9 to 5, right? I wanted to do something that I wanted to get freedom, basically financial freedom, as everyone calls it. Now, in that journey, I saw February was good, 2K, March was maybe 3K, April was maybe 4K, and then May, the month I graduated, I went back down to 0. And that absolutely devastated me because I had so much pressure on me. Because when I graduated, I made the choice not to go into the 9 to 5 route, but actually just double down and go full in on my business, right? And when that $0 month happened, it really shook my certainty. And when it did, that's when I was fucked, right? So this pressure that I put on myself made me very, very insecure, and this insecurity started to reflect out into my business. Okay, my internal world, my attitude started to reflect out into my business. So that's why I experienced this $0 month. Now, how do you move past a $0 month without getting destroyed by it? Well, it's supposed to destroy you. You've got to be destroyed in order to rebuild yourself. So that's what I exactly did. I allowed it to destroy me so that I could recreate myself the way that I wanted. So when I started to see the $0 month as a blessing in disguise, that's when the events that followed started to change. Okay? When I put a good meaning to the $0 month, then next month I actually hit 5K. In June, I had a 5K month. And then July, I hit an 8K month. And in August, I had my first 20K month. October, I went up to 50K, right? So it just kept spiraling up and up and up. So this is how, if you start to realize that there are only blessings and blessings in disguise, then everything that you perceive, every meaning, every attitude that you have becomes positive. When every attitude becomes positive, it leads you to positive lifelines, and the events that follow become more and more positive. Okay? So that's how it worked for me. Number 2 is responsibility. And what do I mean by that? This kind of ties into the first thing, the first mindset shift. But by responsibility, I mean you are 100% responsible for where you are in life and what your life is. Okay? You are 100% responsible for everything around you, every single little thing, even the tree next to you. And what I mean by responsibility is not blame. I mean the ability to respond. Okay, I'm going to write that down. You are 100% responsible. So this essentially means that any single event that happens from this point onwards, you choose how you respond to it. Okay? Any event that happens, you choose your response to it. You choose the attitude and the meaning that you put onto it. We forget that. We think that, oh, because a bad thing has happened, my reaction has to be that this was bad. Oh, there were ups and downs in my life. The way I look at it now, there were just ups. There were just things that needed to happen for me to get here today and for me to go where I'm going to go tomorrow. Right? So all of these things, they're all blessings. And because of that, it dictates my response. When I have this overarching frame of my life that everything is a blessing and everything is a blessing in disguise, I choose now to put a positive meaning and respond positively to every single thing that happens. Right? Even if something goes wrong, I just respond positively because I know it's a blessing in disguise. So you're 100% responsible. And your response shapes the events that follow, okay? It's never really the action that dictates what happens in your life. I want you to remember that. It's never the action, but the motive behind the action. The motive and the intention behind the action and the action itself, they're whole. They're one whole, but just in different physical aspects. They're just different, they're separate aspects of one thing, right? You understand what I'm trying to say by this? It's like the action without the motive is pointless. If you just dryly keep doing something every single day, there's no point. If there's no intention, there's no striving, there's no desire behind it, then it's just going to be useless. It's just going to keep you stuck in a hamster wheel. There's no point doing it. You might as well not do it. I made a video about how you don't need to do anything to manifest. You don't need to take action to manifest. And I truly still believe that. You don't. The action is a natural part that will follow. You don't have to go out there and keep looking at, oh, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? What you need to do first is get your internal world right. Because your external world is a reflection of your internal. But most people use the external world to dictate how they feel internally. That's why they keep staying stuck in a loop, right? So if you look at the mirror, right? If we have two boxes, and let's say this is E and external, and this is I internal, what most people do is they see bad stuff happening in their lives, and they're like, I'm doomed. And then I'm doomed means my attitude towards my reality is that reality causes doom. So the external shapes their internal first, instead of the other way around. Instead of you just ignoring, oh, I'm seeing some bad stuff temporarily, but there are also some good stuff. But I'm sure that these bad things are actually blessings in disguise. Instead of doing that, they're like, fuck, I'm doomed. And then now your internal shapes your external, because the mirror of reality says, you feel you're doomed, your attitude is that of doom. Okay, here's more doom. So that's how it happens. So this is why I stress the mirror principle so much in my videos and all the time. But number 2 is responsibility, and taking 100% responsibility for where you are in life. Not blame. It's not your fault, but you are still responsible from what happens this present moment from this point onwards. Okay? Number 3, this was probably the biggest realization I made. It's all a game. All of this is all a game. Okay? So make sure you have fun. This is all a game. Have fun. Why is this so important? When the moment you start to forget that it's all a game, you become truly attached to an outcome, and then you suffer. Okay? Because the nature of life is ever changing. It's never going to be the same. But you lose sight of the game. It's like someone being a professional athlete, right? Let's say you are a football player, and then you just lose sight of the game and you get lost in all the logistics of, oh, I need to perform, I need to do this and I need to do that, and your expectations start to create more pressure in you. And this pressure again reflects out in your game, and you start to perform terribly because now you're not even thinking about having fun. You're not present. Your imagination takes control of you. Like, oh, what if this thing that's happened in the past happens? Your memory and your imagination take control of you. So the moment this game, you start to forget that it's a game and this game becomes too serious, you're fucked. And you need to start to show yourself this is a game, right? And why was this important for me? Why was this mindset important for me in my journey? What I saw was that I started to get really attached to certain routines. Like, oh, I need to do this and I need to do that. Oh God, if I don't do this, I'm fucked. You know, if I take a day off, I'm fucked. Like, I can't take a day off. I can't take a vacation. In order to achieve my goals, I need to do this, this, and this, and this, this, and this. So you put too much meaning on certain things. Whenever anything in your life gains an inflated sense of meaning, that's when you create an imbalance in the field of nature. I made a video about this too. Click up here to check that out. It's understanding your own importance levels, and when you become too needy, when you become needy and desperate, life withdraws that from you. Because needy and desperation means I don't have. It affirms the state and the attitude of I don't have. Then the mirror of reality says, you don't have? Okay, more of not having. So this is why whenever you start to lose sight that everything is actually just a game, it's time to show yourself that it's a game. When I got attached to all of these routines and I saw that my results were suffering because of this neediness and desperation, I swear to God, I saw, like, when I was getting too desperate on the close and like talking to prospective clients, they could feel this neediness coming from me, and they'll be turned off. They'll be like, oh, this guy's way too needy for this. Something's not right. So energy never really lies, right? And because of that, I would probably turn off a lot of clients, and maybe my videos were even turning them off, and they were like, oh, something's just not right about this energy. So you've got to keep your energy right. And the only way to do that, the best way to do that, is by showing yourself that this is all a game. Nothing's ever too serious. Okay? If anything ever becomes too serious, time to show yourself it's a game. All right? So let's do a quick recap. And what we really talked about in this video. And essentially the biggest thing I want you to take away from it is the mirror principle, right? And why certain events happen in your life in certain ways, and why you can't understand this cause and effect cycle. And really why all of this stuff happens is you forget to understand that your internal world reflects out into your external world. And how this happens is by the attitude you have towards events, towards objects, towards people, whatever. Let's just call all of them events, right? Your attitude towards events creates more of these events. Like attracts like. And this is why the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer. Another subtlety I forgot to recap about is the subtlety of, do you really want what you want, or do you want it because you want to avoid the opposite, the counterpart? Do you want to really be rich, or do you want to be rich because you don't want to be poor? Every single desire starts with resistance of the opposite, right? You look in the mirror, you're like, oh shit, I look fat, I want to be skinny. But most people they fail to focus more on what they want. 50% or more of their thoughts and their feelings go towards what they don't want, right? And because of that, it's not conducive. You're not thinking of a vision that you have. You're constantly living in the past of, oh, I was fat, I was fat, I was fat. It doesn't serve you. It creates the drive, but what moves you forward is the intention, not the desire, right? So when you look at your horrible past, that's why a lot of people like Kevin Hart, when they look at their horrible past, they're like, oh, I just never want to go back there again. I'm sure he's not thinking about the past every time he's doing a stand-up comedy or he's doing a brand deal or whatever it is he's doing. He's not looking at the past. His intention is to move forward, but he uses the past as fuel, as the desire to build it up so that it fuels the intention. Intention is like a fire, but the fire needs fuel, and desire is what fuels up this fire. Okay? You can use resistance as a fuel, but it can become dangerous. It's like a low quality fuel. You know, there are better ways to do it. And the three mindset shifts we talked about are, number one, there are only blessings and blessings in disguise. Number two, responsibility. You are 100% responsible for where you are in life right now. AKA, you can respond to every single thing, and you choose your response consciously. Number 3, it's all a game. Whenever you lose sight that it's a game, you're in trouble. Now you've got to show yourself that it's a game. And I used to just, go out there and take a vacation, or I'll just take a day off. Just do something completely uncomfortable and change it up. Something completely left field. Just to show myself that it's not that serious. Because you just forget. You become so attached to it, you just forget. And with that, I conclude this video. Thank you so much for watching. I sincerely hope this was helpful. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that little bell there so you're notified of any new video that I put out. I usually do 2 videos a week. And as I mentioned before, the free one-to-one consult with me and my team for the Reality Mastery program is now open. Spots do fill up very, very fast, so make sure you click on the link in the description below to sign up to actually see if we can work together to help you. This is not just a free chat, it's actually a diagnostic to see if we're a good fit to work together, okay? And really who we work with are entrepreneurs who already have an established business or are thinking to start up and they want to take it to the next level. And what they find is that the tactics and strategies are not the problem. They've tried all the tactics and strategies in the coaching programs, but for some reason they keep hitting this invisible wall and they don't know what this wall is. And they're starting to suspect that it's internal, or they know for a fact that it's internal because they've been aware enough to observe these patterns. Okay, if that sounds like you, take advantage of this opportunity and sign up, and let's actually see if we are a good fit to work together. And also, the free Facebook group is open for you to take advantage of. The link for that is also in the description. We only let select people enter this group, so make sure you fill up that 3-question survey, and let's see, if we can have you in the group. So thank you so much for watching. Sincerely hope this helped. Till next time, peace.